Hey.
Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Tuesday, February 4th, and you are tuned in to the place for helpful, live crypto education, news, commentary, and answers to all your crypto questions. Everything from why is the market crashing to what is a Bitcoin? If we don't have the answer, the 8 Ball does, and it says, take a pause. Good job, 8 Ball. How you guys doing?
That's actually pretty good.
I would say so. That's the first time I've actually had that answer. I had to Google the other day how many sides are on the dice in an 8 Ball.
At it.
Right. Of all the times I've looked at it, I've never gotten take a pause. Apparently there are 20 sides on the die. And it has a couple favorite answers. It definitely likes to say buy the dip. It also likes to say Bitcoin fixes this. But you know, that's how it is. Let us know how you're doing. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just buy that dip every time. One of the Trump sons puts out a tweet saying, "I think now's a good time to buy Ethereum."
Dude, can we talk about his edit? Did you see the edit to that tweet?
Yeah, but I don't know what he had before. I think it was like, "Here's a tip" or something like that before.
It was you can thank me later, and then he deleted that.
Oh, I saw that screenshot. Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, these morons are giving us the best crypto Twitter copy pasta of all time. What did we get in the last 48 hours? We got not selling, just strategically reallocating for normal business purposes.
Yeah, from World Liberty Financial's selling of Ethereum. We're not selling, we're reallocating for strategic business purposes. So
there's nothing to see here. Let's talk about that.
We're not selling at all.
Evan, I brought this up to Will, and I know you and I were talking about it yesterday. So yesterday, it became known, because, you know, blockchains work, that World Liberty Financial had moved 67,000 Ether away from their holdings, and I will show you the Arkham dashboard right here.
Show is not sponsored by Arkham, but it should be. Hold tight. I'm blowing you up, bringing you to TikTok. Go ahead.
So here we can see their current holdings right here, courtesy of Arkham, 33 and some change million. You'll notice the Ether's gone. 67,000 of it was transferred yesterday. And this obviously got some attention. This is not like breaking news or by any stretch. It was heavily tweeted about. It resulted in some very funny copy pasta.
What is a copy pasta, Alex, for people who may not be familiar with that term?
Sorry. Copy pasta is just sort of like a slang term for something funny that somebody says that will then get repeated ad nauseum forever until a funnier thing comes around. It's the equivalent on TikTok of a trend happening that everyone like recreates in their own video form. And then
that's a good analogy for it. That's spot on.
They do it on Twitter. So anyway, after that, there was a Cointelegraph article that started to, or article is a strong word. There was a headline published by Cointelegraph that said that World Liberty Financial had purchased 86,000 new Ether. And I was like, oh, interesting. Reminder to fact check. Top comments on that were all, are you sure? Are you sure about that? The chain disagrees. Where are you seeing this? Not on Arkham. Etherscan link? And all this.
Did you get lazy?
Start poking around, and then someone quote tweets AIXBT, which is an AI agent that runs on Twitter and tweets all the time.
But you can ask crypto questions.
And it had tweeted that World Liberty Financial had purchased $86,000 or 86,000 Ether, totaling however many millions of dollars that is. And so then the question became, Cointelegraph, did you post this headline because of what AIXBT said? And I'm genuinely asking for some assistance here, because I could be looking in the wrong spot. We could all be wrong, but it's an interesting fact check. And the reason I bring this up is because we don't really have to take people's word for it, because blockchains are blockchains and we can just go look.
Fact check yourself, brother.
there's zero indication anywhere in World Liberty Financial's wallet history that they acquired 86,000 new Ether and then did anything with it, and it's not there. They did move 67,000 Ether away from their wallets yesterday to Coinbase Prime or whatever, but that appears to be it. And so the funniest part was that after several quote tweets popped up with the AIXBT thing and asking Cointelegraph is like, hey, was this your source? Because that's wild if it was. AIXBT itself started replying to all of those quotes, just being like, I'm not a reliable source of information. I wouldn't take my word for anything.
Yeah, it said, I hallucinated this article yesterday.
I hallucinated this yesterday.
Wait,
And
was
then,
that AI 16 BTC? Is that the thing? I
No,
was getting mixed up.
AIXBT. Yeah.
This is
AI.
a gross misrepresentation of the facts.
XBT.
And then to cap it all off, someone replied to AIXBT in one of those where it's like admitting that it's just trolling everybody. And it was like, hey, AIXBT, when altcoin season? And it was just like, right now. And that was the end of my digging. But I'm throwing this out there for people who are better at blockchain analytics than me. If you can find proof of this 86,000 ETH purchase, I would love to see it. So somebody help me out, because I don't think it happened.
Yeah, but the moral of the story is Eric Trump says alt season is coming. And
Yeah,
pump our
then
bags.
Eric bull posted ETH, and everyone is making fun of him, and that is the copy pasta, which is thank me later, which he
Thank me
tweeted
later.
and then edited to remove.
Might as well have said not financial advice on that one.
Well, he did. He I will say in his defense, he did say, in my opinion, something about buying ETH is a good idea. Thank me later.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Angel
like
hair and
this.
meatballs.
I like
Copy
this.
pasta.
I prefer angel hair and meatballs as opposed to copy pasta. As a good Italian myself, I agree. Moist Mike on YouTube, for the people who can't see it on TikTok, says we should
What
be
a name.
sponsored by everybody. Yeah, and what a name.
Moist
Don't
Mike. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's awesome.
Come for him.
So thank you very much, Moist Mike. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much, Eric Trump, for bringing us news that alt season might be coming. I appreciate that.
Eventually, maybe one day.
One day.
Anyway,
So you're
wild
telling me
times.
there's a chance?
Yeah.
The moral of the story is check the chain. The chain don't lie.
The moral of the story is insider trading is brought up even past 11, where it already was in the crypto space, to 27.
Well, and I think it just kind of highlights that insider trading is alive and well. The problem is that it's a lot easier to
It's a
spot
lot easier.
on chain,
It's a
and
lot
I
easier to spot.
genuinely feel like some of the people who are kind of getting caught up in these little hiccups are learning in real time just how easily accessible on-chain data is, and I genuinely am getting the vibe they weren't super aware of how that worked.
Well, for people who aren't aware of how it works, Alex, can you teach us how it works? Where do you like to go for on-chain data? And let's start with, what is the URL for Arkham? What is it? And then can we talk about the Block Explorer?
Yeah, for sure. So let me just start this off by saying I'm not an engineer. I would not call myself overly technical. I'm a hobbyist at best. I just spend some time reading. So if it's this easy for me to do it, first of all, you can do it too. And second of all, imagine what like smart people can do with this stuff.
Yeah.
So
Man, imagine if we had one of those.
no, we should
We'd
really
be-
look into
we'd
getting
be
one of
set.
those. We should look into getting somebody smart. Actually, so Will, I think you were the one who kind of turned me on to Arkham. I had like heard the name, but I hadn't really spent much time poking around. And I really, 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 really enjoyed their dashboard. I like the visualization.
It's nice and smooth and nice to read.
Yeah, I like things organized like that, because CryptoPanic looks like that, where it's just like, we are putting no design effort into this whatsoever. Here's just raw information that is organized well so that you can read it. And I really appreciate
how lovely.
that.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine.
Whoa.
So Evan, do you want to toss up a banner maybe just with, I think it's just arkm.com is Arkham's homepage, and then you can go in there, and there's a lot of like famous profiles, famous wallets that get tracked, famous accounts that get looked at and kind of dashboarded up. So we've been using it to
Say that
watch
again.
the
ARKM? I thought it was
No, it's ARKM. Arkham, but for the cool kids,
Here it comes. Hang on.
Yes.
I'm gonna add a little track known wallets And here you go. This is what the
Just as a
URL looks like.
reminder. So this again, this is just the World Liberty Financial dashboard. I think Arkham's got a bunch of stuff you can pay for, and there's some stuff that you have to have an account to use. But just like looking at a profile like this, I'm not signed into anything. I've not created any accounts. Thank you, William. But I just like,
Beautiful.
so you've got all your transfers down here. You've got a visualization over here of portfolio allocations. You've got the actual stuff here, and then you've got some different histories over here. So what we can do, over here on the histories part, I've just clicked token balances history. I was curious about ETH. So let's just look at ETH, and you can see right here. So here's, holdings. This is all through November and into December. We get up to January 14th, there's 17,000. They move all of it away. Then 57,000 new Ether comes in by the 21st over 2 days. That's kind of growing, all the way up to 67,000 Ether. And then in one shot, we go all of it out on the 4th of February, or excuse me, on the 3rd of February. So, and then down here is like all of the stuff, and you can like link it out to the actual transaction hash and whatever to go look at the Blockchain Explorer. So let's take a look at that.
Yeah. And the Blockchain Explorer is, like Arkham, a different organization of more easily human readable transaction data. You might see if you send or receive cryptocurrency from a wallet that in the little receipt it gives you, it'll say view on Blockchain Explorer, or there'll be all this information like a transaction hash. Everything that happens on a blockchain has its own sort of unique identifier. It can be really helpful. Were you going to the Block Explorer?
Yep.
Or did I misunderstand you?
Nope. I'm going right now.
Okay.
Was letting you
Hang on.
do
He's
your
like,
thing.
well, now I am.
I'm gonna bop out of this screen share really quick, and I might go over to give them a new banner. Hang on.
So this is Etherscan, which is just a blockchain explorer for Ethereum. Every blockchain has an explorer, and most of them have more than one. Etherscan is kind of the go-to for me. It's just the big one, the Mac Daddy. But there's all sorts of stuff that you can do here, and most of the times that I point this stuff out or show it to people, it's to do this, use it to check. I don't know. So let's pick a token. Let's do something innocuous.
Can we do Gala V1? Oh, Polygon is good. I'll tell you a story about Gala V1 tomorrow. Today. Tomorrow. Okay. What the hell am I doing?
So here's POL, cryptocurrency that people are familiar with. And immediately we can get some basic information up here. So first of all, it's on Polygon. It's an ERC20. Okay, cool. Max supply. How many holders are there? How many transfers have there been? Current price in ETH, current market cap. So on-chain market cap is their way of saying fully diluted valuation, and then circulating supply market cap is circulating supply. And then down here, you just have all of the transfers in as they happen, but you can separate this out into different things. And the first place I always go look when I'm usually, you would check this out for like a meme token or something that you were trying to audit a little bit. You can come over here and you can look at holders, and you can either read it raw like this, and you can see wallet, quantity, percentage of the total supply, value, and then there's an analytics tab, and you can kind of get some visualization there. One thing to note here, and I'll zoom in for you, Will. These sometimes they have just like this. They just have the classic wallet address, giant string of characters, 0x whatever. But sometimes if we know who the wallet is, like this is the main Polygon staking contract, they'll label it, and then right next to here there's this little document icon. It just indicates that this wallet is under smart contract, so you can actually click into this and you can read the code if you want. It's not a skill I have, but if you do, knock yourself out and tell me what you find. And then, of course, you can see just a ton. So we've got some of the main company wallets. We've got some exchange wallets, the Binance Hot Wallet. Binance has shitloads of wallets, so they're all numbered here. On and on and on. OKX, more Binance, lots of Binance, Crypto.com, Bitfinex, etc. You get the idea. And I mean, you can do that. You can just chase. So, chase links if you're trying
I'd be
to
curious
follow money.
if you're gonna chase links. Are you gonna chase links or no?
Just to show like how easy it is, but not
Yeah. Okay.
to a specific.
Because I'd say
goal,
maybe
so.
pull up World Liberty Finance and see if we can tell after they
Hmm.
sent their money to Coinbase whether or not my suspicion, based on we had a comment that said, "What do you think Trump did with his ETH? Do you think he moved it to sell it?" And I said, "No, I think
I doubt he's going to sell it.
I think he's
was
staking it,
having
and
the same
Coinbase is
thought,
giving him a
yeah.
good rate."
Mhm.
Coinbase has the liberty to, if you're a whale, they first of all are going to treat you personal. You don't get the blocks and holds everybody else is complaining about. They're going to be
No.
really nice to you. They're going to assign you at least one full-time employee whose job it is to make you happy. They'll probably give you an unpublished rate. That whole earn APY on your USDC. Oh man, don't worry, my friend. You got that. We'll give you 5%, and not just on the first 30,000. We're going to give you 5% on, up to however many millions you have on our platform, kind of thing. Like they're going to take care of World Liberty Financial for parking their ETH with them. Absolutely. Dinging them.
So at any rate, I do encourage you to click it. I mean, and there's SolScan, there's Base Scan, there's Polyscan, there's Polka Scan, there's, Card Scan. Every blockchain has an Explorer, and you can do.
Yeah.
They all function effectively the same way. But I mean, anything that's a link here, you can chase it and track stuff. So here's the most recent Polygon transaction. The hash is like the unique serial number that identifies this transaction. Can't be replicated. So you could go in here and you can get all the information. It happened 4 minutes ago. This is the block that it was in. It was a success. It came from this wallet. It interacted with this smart contract. What did it do? It transferred this much from this wallet to this wallet, et cetera, et cetera. And then you can, okay, well, who is this from? So let's click on this wallet address, and here's their balance. They've got 3.76 ETH in there, which is worth like 10 grand. They are as recent as 4 minutes ago with that transaction we just looked at, and this wallet started 222 days ago. On and on and on and on. There is no end. If it happened on a chain, it's here, queryable by the Blockchain Explorer.
That's right.
And that's kind of the magic of this whole thing.
Will, I don't have my chat at the ready, but I saw your preview. You should tweet that. I'm in an untweetable place.
I already tweeted, so
beautiful. You guys
well,
it
was earlier. It was earlier though, talking about the World Liberty
yeah.
Financial Cointelegraph thing. I also don't know how to do the private messaging in StreamYard.
Okay, Will, look over here on the side. Look over here on the right side. See how there's your 5 little buttons. See the one that says private chat.
English. Guys, I can't read.
If we can read a Blockchain Explorer, guys, that's the moral of the story. Then you are going to be so good.
Yeah.
Alex and I did a video on YouTube called "How to Read a Blockchain Explorer." It's got some clickbait in it. It says like the most important skill in blockchain, and honestly, for my money,
but it is,
can you think of a better one? It really is.
I'm not even being it. It sounds clickbaity, but I'm dead.
I would agree.
Like that's the most important thing because
it is
no one
the
can lie
skill
to you.
because you are literally looking at the information on chain. It is the most. We always say don't trust, verify, things like that. Cute little sayings about how you gotta know what's happening and the benefits of blockchain. This is how you capitalize on the benefits of blockchain. You don't have to look at us. If we can do it, you can do it. I will tell you one last quick story about it. Is yesterday our friend of the show, Carol. We don't have Stump the Chumps like Car Talk does, but if I had a cute little bumper, it would go right here where we revisit a past caller's issue and tell you, did we give them the correct answer or did they stump the chumps? And in fact, I got a call with Carol yesterday where we looked at what was going on in her wallet. She had a really interesting issue that we used the Blockchain Explorer to solve. She called us to tell us that she woke up, checked her wallet, and there were like $20,000 in it that she didn't expect to see. And it was coming from a token called Gala. And we know Gala. Gala, if you're unfamiliar, is a gaming-oriented blockchain company. And they famously had a token migration. They had a token called Gala. In 2023, they changed the token and they did what's called a migration. And this is not uncommon in blockchain. Tokens get updated, they get migrated. This stuff happens. That's one of the benefits of it. And sometimes they do this migration for you automatically, where if you have the token, you'll just wake up one day and now you got the new token. You don't have to do anything. Sometimes you got to use a service called a bridge to interact with the blockchain, to trade your old tokens for your new tokens. In Carol's case, this happened a long time ago. She heard about the token, wanted to buy the token, got on Coinbase Wallet, searched for the token to buy just to swap her USDC for it. And the token that it brought up was the old Gala token, something that really shouldn't be possible. But after she sent us some screenshots of the balance, we were concerned that maybe she had bought a scam token. It happens sometimes. People will create smart contracts for their scam token and give it a name like Gala, so it appears in searches. And that's the first way we use the Blockchain Explorer. As I said, Carol, send me the contract address of this token. I pulled it up on the Blockchain Explorer. I pulled up the Gala token, the real one, from their website, and I compared the contract addresses. And that told me, aha, you did buy the real Gala, but you bought the old Gala. And as we looked through her transactions and looked on the Blockchain Explorer, we learned that for some reason, Coinbase Wallet has an issue where it reads an extra 2 zeros into the price of your Gala tokens. The token was trading at like 0.0002. Coinbase thought it was 0.02. And so she had about $200, but the wallet said, baby, you got $20,000. And so after much rigmarole and back and forth, I said, Carol, let's just swap those tokens out of the wallet. I said, also, if you want my advice, this is what I think. I think Gala is in a lawsuit. The founders, are squandering money, fighting each other. Nobody's doing anything there. The on-chain activity is dead, and it is messing up your wallet. I said, let's just get it out of there. Let's just move it. Swapped it. Wallet went back. It was great, and we did it with the Blockchain Explorer's help. If I can do it, you can definitely do it. So
what a fitting plug for a very good, useful, real story. It's almost like we designed this.
Almost like we designed this, but
there was a. Am I breaking up? Or is
happened to me.
Up?
Oh,
It's
go ahead.
Oh, it's Evan this time. Evan, we lost you.
Is it me?
Into a robot.
Oh.
You're back.
You are, but
Go ahead.
Your video is a little fuzzy on my side. But we had a question in the Discord, a question that I think a lot of people can relate to, which is, when the markets do what they did yesterday, during the trade war, and you see a gigantic collapse happen super, super quickly across all these crypto, everyone gets shaken, right? And the question was, essentially, I'm not going to remember it word for word, but it was, hey, when do you consolidate your portfolio? Like, when do you decide to sell certain coins that maybe you've lost some conviction in to then put that money into coins that you have more conviction in? How do you manage that? Because it's a good question, particularly at that time when the markets go down. Because when the markets go down, you kind of get shaken into reality, but you also get shaken into a very emotional state where your emotions want you to sell everything, but you know in your brain, you don't want to sell when it's down. You want to sell when it's up. So a natural question of, when do I do this if my conviction has really gotten stronger with these 3 coins, let's say, and much weaker in these 3 coins, and I don't necessarily feel great about being invested in them anymore. So, that's the question. Like, what do you do from there? So I don't know, Evan or Alex, you guys want to take that one first?
Oh, bro, I was leaning in. I was like, great, Will's going to teach me, because I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. I have been wrestling with this myself. In terms of, this is the hardest time in the market to try and predict things. I think that sometimes it really depends on your unique specific situation. And this is why it's so hard. You can't take advice from people on social media. You really need to sit down and think through a couple of things. The first thing is it going to pump or not? All kinds of stuff pumps in the market for all kinds of, weird reasons. I prefer to invest in things that have fundamentals or pumpamentals. Shout out to Decentralized Father. And it's tough to know sometimes. I also think there can be an advantage if you're down on something. I like to wait for strength, like you often say, meaning you wait for a token to go on an uptrend before you get it out of your wallet. But there can be advantages to selling a token at a loss. That'll depend on your specific situation, how much money you're going to make this year, how much you might want to offset in taxes, that kind of thing, or carry going forward. And it depends on how quickly you might want to move into those assets you have strong conviction about. If Eric Trump tweets buy ETH, thank me later, you might feel an urgency to swap that, I don't know, Cosmos into ETH, for example. So it's tricky to answer. It's honestly very hard, and it's hard the more tokens you hold. So I would say more than anything, just take it one position at a time. Start with your position of least conviction and think about whether or not a strategic loss might make sense. That's something I think a lot of people don't consider.
Yeah, I think one thing to consider too is if you're losing conviction in certain things and gaining conviction in others, people still buying Cosmo, and losing conviction in others at a time when the market's down. I would say also take a look at which coins you think could go up more in value. And things that you look at here is you look at market cap size. Like, for example, in order for Ethereum to double in market cap size, it needs to add 300 billion. In order for Solana to double in market cap size, therefore price, it needs 100 billion, right? So therefore, it's easier for Solana to give you a 2x than Ethereum. And you can do that simple math for other coins too, right? So you can take a look and see which coins you think are going to give you a higher gain. If that happens to be the coins you have more conviction in, then yeah, I think it makes sense even when the markets are down to sell, positions that you have less conviction in into those positions you have more conviction in if they're smaller market cap. Oh, the dog. I was like,
sorry.
It sounded like a human scream, like oh wow, interesting. Funny dog noise. But yeah, so that makes sense. It also makes sense to me if your high conviction plays also happen to not be listed on a Binance yet, or a Kraken yet, or a Coinbase yet. You have the opportunity to ride some Coinbase listing pumps, eventually when the market gets hot again, because that's when they like to list things. Then yeah, it makes sense to leave your low conviction plays into your high conviction plays, even when the market's low. If none of those things are lining up, the only reason to do it when the markets are red is if it makes you feel good. And there is a certain amount of validity to like being in a more confident place with your portfolio moving forward. You're in a position, you're in a mental space to be able to make better, more strategic decisions for yourself. Otherwise, what I would do is I'd wait until markets turned green, got a solid relief rally, waited until there was one more large cycle, rode everything up as far as it could go. Maybe a couple of my less conviction plays maybe do very well. Maybe they don't, but they're up higher than where they were. Then I sell them and I wait for the next big wave down, and then I would look to buy in. You have to be patient. You're waiting months potentially to execute that plan. But that's how I look at that. If my high conviction plays during a market downtrend don't happen to be making sense with me from a smaller market cap standpoint, a pumpamental standpoint from being able to be listed on exchanges, things like that.
I think that's great advice, first of all. And I would say, ding to that. I also think it's hard. That's why it's so hard to manage a big position. Many positions, a big portfolio. If you have, 10, 15, 20, 30 tokens at the most active time in the market, like, I don't know. It's very hard to just say, I'm going to set limit orders for all these things and walk away, because anything could change tomorrow. So it's nice to be able to just kind of pay attention and stay nimble. I did want to give a resource, cryptosnapshot.net. We did some videos when they were just getting started. Is a free tool built by some of our friends of the show here on TikTok. Cosmic has contributed some developer support. Dwayne Crypto Tuna is the guy who built it, became Crypto Snapshot, just a friendly, helpful guy who has all his account is mostly him demoing how to use this tool. And it has things like the dollar cost average calculator. If you have a lump sum of money, you want a dollar cost average into a particular crypto token, it can help you set price targets in or out. It can help you use tools like the Fibonacci. Google it if you don't know what it is. And then make a plan for yourself. It turns everything you generate into spreadsheets. It's a cool free tool, and I'm sure they've just continued to build since, every time I come to the website, there's something new and better there. I highly recommend it. cryptosnapshot.net. Alex, do you have tips, tricks, suggestions?
I've just like a couple kind of, I guess, go-to little strategies, and these are kind of built from my personal skill set, just because I'm an awful trader, and I don't really try to. Whenever I like sit down and like really lean into trying to trade effectively, I just get washed every time. So I don't. I've just sort of developed this like feeling over time when it's like, okay, this feels like a little bit too much of a pump for like one day. It's like, 20% in one day. I don't trust it. Take some profit. Do I sell the whole thing? No. But the same works in reverse. So, if we're bleeding heavily, and this doesn't apply to me so much anymore because I only hold like 4 things. But if the market bleeds and everything crashes down and there's kind of a big crater, and I would call it unsustainable, like exactly what happened on Sunday. There's no way that was a sustainable crash. Even if it was just into a small bull trap, you knew that it was going to reverse at some point because not everyone was willing to give up. Even if that had been the top, and even if that was the start of the bear market, when it goes like that, it always it's like that just a little bit. So I'm looking at it cratered and I'm like, okay. First, I do the same gut check every time. Do I still like everything in my portfolio? Do I still want everything to stay here? And now it's small enough to where that's an easy yes. It's literally just Bitcoin, ETH, and Solana. So I'm like, yep, cool. I'm good with all those. Let's go back in time to when I had some other stuff in my portfolio that I was like kind of looking to get rid of or whatever. Everything goes down 15%. The way that I consolidate is to, let's just say Polkadot and Solana. Let's say I had both and I didn't want the Polkadot anymore and I only wanted Solana. They both go down 15% in a big crash. I would sell the Polkadot in that instance at a loss and roll it straight into a Solana purchase, which is buying the dip on Sol with an asset that I no longer have conviction in for whatever reason. 2 things get achieved there. One, actually 3. 1, I get more of an asset that I have higher conviction in. 2, I have consolidated my portfolio and it's now easier to manage. There's less things for me to keep track of, less news to follow up on, and just 1 project to monitor instead of 2. And 3, I get to lock in a tax loss because maybe I sold that Polkadot at a loss. And so that's a capital loss. I can use that to offset some of my capital gains. And from there, then I would just kind of keep rinsing and repeating every time the market makes a big unsustainable move up or down. I look at it the exact same way. And that's really the biggest piece of evolution that I've done since I got into this whole thing. Going from having 25 tokens where I'm constantly trying to look at news updates and follow like, okay, well, this is really good for HBAR, but it's really bad for this. And like now maybe this one's going to pump, and maybe this one's not going to pump and whatever. And it's just too stressful. And then you miss stuff. And I always find that people keep that many because they want to like be really diversified. But then whenever one of those things just errantly pumps, they never do anything about it. They're just like, oh, this was a good idea. And then they round trip it right back down to where everything else is.
Yeah.
So I just don't really vibe with that strategy anymore. Yeah, I don't know. That's pretty much
that makes sense. That's a good general plan to have.
It's
a good general
made
plan
my
of
life a lot
I don't
easier.
want to round trip. So it's a very
Pretty
simple
much.
strategy, and honestly, the simplicity is going to make it so that you're a better performing trader than the average person. So
Well, and to that point, we were discussing, and someone was asking in the chat just about, how do you time it for your dollar cost average purchases? Is there a specific day that historically does better or worse? I always look on the weekends because crypto trades on the weekend and the stock market doesn't. So crypto has a chance to kind of front run what we think could happen in the stock market the following week. And let's take this most recent example, this most recent weekend, for example. We were talking about it. It was constantly being talked about that like people were anticipating a rough opening on Monday morning for the stock market. So to me, that means crypto's likely to have a rough Sunday because people ride it up to the last second and then they want to like lock in some stuff and expect to buy back during a dip on Monday, inevitably causing a crash on Sunday. So me thinking about that, I had Sol, my entry price is pretty low. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to play that game. Let's sell a quarter of the position at $200. Sure as shit, market crashed. Solana went down to not as much as I wanted, but went down to like 180 something. Managed to rebuy there, went right back up to 200 within 12 hours, and I just resold the whole thing. So a quick little sell, buy, sell. And the only thing that informed that was knowing that Sunday is usually rough when Monday is predicted to be tumultuous. And that I had confidence that even if it crashed, Solana was going to go back to at least $200 at some point. So I felt confident buying it at a higher price than I would normally be buying it at 180, whatever. And it ended up working out. I could have caught another one today or yesterday, but I wasn't paying close enough attention. Big sad.
Big sad.
We have two really good questions I'd like to get into. One is, do you all buy Bitcoin daily? If so, what's your daily buy? I'm interested. And I just want to troll Will, because the other day he posted something like, "This is day 7 of buying Bitcoin every day," and
you were like, "This is day 1,142 of me buying Bitcoin every single day." I was just like, man.
I wish I could have had a longer streak. Honestly, truly, I had been thinking about it for a long time. I had been buying Bitcoin, but if you don't have a system for it, it doesn't work. Like, your planning, you don't rise to the level of your greatest ambitions. You fall to the level of your systems. And so I use river.com. There are many such solutions. Strike is another one that are designed to make it easy for you to buy Bitcoin. They have zero recurring fees on withdrawals and recurring purchases. So I decided at the start of the year how much money I want to spend on Bitcoin. And then I divide that by 365. You could divide it by 12 or by 52 if you wanted to buy every month or every week. And then at the same time every day, about 10 a.m., because that seems to be a good time for daily dips on Bitcoin, I buy. And I'm not too precious about it. This is not something I sat and puzzled about. I just was like, nope, I just need to buy it. I just need to do it. I need to make a plan. I never think about the money. It's a small enough amount that, I'm not going to think about it. And until I go check the balance at the end of the year and I'm like, oh, this is great. And then when it's a red day, I can go in. If I do what Alex does and I see the market is down, I can easily use River to pull more money from my bank, buy more, or use stable coins to buy a dip on Coinbase or something like that. That's my plan. Will, are you starting a daily habit? Or is it just the last couple of days you're feeling the Bitcoin FOMO? Muted. William.
You weasel.
I was just practicing. No, I was just practicing. I was just trying to fuck with you guys at that point. But so I've been I'll be buying Bitcoin every single day for the next 3 months, and then I'll stop. Because I don't know. I have some very good Bitcoin purchases at $6,800 and $25,000, and very, very happy with those. But right now, I just really feel like it's the last time to really get Bitcoin with just some regular buys before strategic Bitcoin reserves across the world and all that really start scooping it up in a big way. So I just feel like I need it. I feel like I need it. I need to have more purchases of Bitcoin before it's adopted in the biggest possible way it really could be adopted. Mm-hmm. And so I want it. I want more. It would make more sense financially for me to go and increase more in my Morpho position or a handful of other altcoins, right? But it won't make me feel as good. And right now I just have an overwhelming anxiety-induced need to buy Bitcoin. And I feel good buying it. And if I was buying anything else right now, I wouldn't feel good. So there I am. And I'll buy it over the next 3 months just because that's the kind of time window that I think we have left before all the big guns really start pointing at it in a positive way. All the big pipes of money, if you will, get really connected to it. Money pipes. Big pipes.
Big pipes. The Rocketeer, I buy $10 every day.
Yeah,
and I switch it.
Yeah. And the amount I buy changes. There was a day where I was like, I'll buy a coffee's worth. And then there was a day where I was like, I'll buy $180 worth. And then the past 2 days I bought I'll buy $25 today and $25 today and $25 tomorrow and $25 the next day. And then, there might be a day where I'm like, here's $100. And it was yada, yada, yada. I just go with what I feel. I'm just happy buying Bitcoin. That's all I really care about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do the exact same dollar amount once a week into ETH and Bitcoin. And then I sort of adjusted it, and now I don't honestly do it every single week like clockwork. I don't buy at all-time highs anymore, just because the stuff is so volatile. I'll move it up and down a day or two. Sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. I've kind of been thinking, I would like to just set probably a recurring and then not think about it on probably those two again. But certainly at least Bitcoin, for the same reason that you said, Will. And I think one thing that's interesting to point out is that I don't look at it exclusively as making an investment for myself anymore. I also look at it as making a purchase, which is a very different type of, money moving decision. If I'm moving something somewhere to invest, I have like a goal and a time horizon in mind, and I'm expecting it to pay me back at some point to some degree. And if it doesn't, I would consider it a failure, or I would consider it, not a good decision or whatever. But one of the ways that I build my investment thesis is look at crypto that I would be purchasing anyway. And I do happen to believe that we are moving closer and closer and closer every year to a future, or to a reality in which Bitcoin is just looked at by more and more people as a more and more secure store of value. And I would like to have more of it. And I don't believe I have enough to make me feel good. So in addition to wanting to invest because I think it will return, I just want to own more of it. I want to buy more of it. And I look at ETH the same way, because I use the Ethereum network every day to do stuff, the same as I use Solana every day to do stuff. So if that's an asset that I need to purchase in order to use it to participate in the DeFi protocols I like to participate in, mint the things I want to mint, trade where I want to trade, play the games I want to play, whatever it happens to be, I need to have some of it. If I feel that, then that is proof to me that the utility is real, and I know I'm not the only one. So it makes me feel better about holding more of it for longer, and that informs my investment thesis.
Really quick, can I ask you guys another follow-up question? And then I see our good buddy Doug is here, so I'm going to bring him up.
Hell yeah.
Why do you think someone asked the president and other heads of state and other institutions feel comfortable buying Bitcoin when they don't know who the CEO is, or who controls it, or who started it?
Well, you don't know who the CEO of gold is either. You don't know who the CEO of copper is. You don't know who the CEO of any commodity. yeah, Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff's the CEO of gold, right? There is no CEO for commodities. You have CEOs of companies. You have CEOs of, air quotes, CEO of bonds, right? Countries, but not for commodities. So in that same argument, why would anyone feel comfortable buying gold? You have an answer for that in your head. Ultimately, it boils down to people view it as valuable, and people have viewed it as valuable for thousands of years. People view Bitcoin as valuable. If you don't think Bitcoin is valuable, I can give you some good reasons for it, but that's not this particular conversation. And if you really want to boil it down to if you really want like a reason, maybe you don't see value in any of Bitcoin's traits, where it is a better gold. It's harder. There's less supply of it available. It's more easy to transfer. It's faster to send money, particularly internationally. With Bitcoin, as we talked about yesterday, yeah, credit cards are faster, but credit cards aren't actually money. It's just a tracker of money that you owe. It's not actually sending of money. If you try to send money, it takes three business days, right? Sending Bitcoin, can take half hour, something like that. But it's neither here nor there. The reason why people are buying it is because they can make money off of it. And now enough people, particularly enough people with a lot of money, think they can make money off of it. So therefore, you have a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? If you want to boil it down, that's an argument I always fall to with people who are like, I give reasons to why Bitcoin's valuable, and they're like, I just don't necessarily get it. And I go, okay. You see what Larry Fink is saying at BlackRock, right? Yeah. You see what Trump's saying about Bitcoin? Yeah. Here are some other things that other nation states are saying. Were you aware? No, I wasn't. Okay, these are other things. Do you think it makes sense to buy the asset before all those people continue to buy it? Or does it make sense to do it later after they've already caused the price to go up? And they go, oh, okay. I was like, so if you don't look at Bitcoin, and that's fine. If you look at Bitcoin, you're like, I don't understand the value. That's fine. It's totally fine to say, hey, I don't get it. It's not for me. I'm not going to invest in it. Totally valid. Totally valid. That's a really good reason to never buy something. If you don't understand it, don't buy it. But the base argument of people who have a ton of money are marketing this and buying into it, and therefore, do you think that's going to make the price go up? And people go, yeah, that's kind of just how markets work. Everyone understands that. And I go, oh, maybe it's good to just have a tiny little bit of it, right? Now, that's not really addressing the exact question here of like, why do people see value in it when it doesn't have a CEO? But I kind of addressed that earlier and went on a bit of a tangent. So hopefully, I didn't lose the ethos of your question.
No, you didn't. I will say I used to think it didn't matter who Satoshi was, or if it was ever revealed, but now I actually think it's quite important.
I think it's very important that it stays very anonymous.
Yes,
I agree completely. I think and if it's, if it's somebody who's dead, or if it's one person, or if it's a group of people, there are interesting implications either way. If it's one person, then the implication is that somebody finds it more valuable to agree to preserve their anonymity than they do to cash in on this thing, this social capital, this monetary capital. If it's a group of people, it has interesting implications about how people can in fact keep secrets. I don't know. I think there are a lot of implications that could, if that person chose to act, change the value in a substantial way. I read a really interesting article that changed my mind about it. I'll try and put it in the Discord.
The other thing to think about too is, even if you know who Satoshi is and you're like, oh wait, Satoshi's alive, and then there's immediately a fear that bubbles up of what if they do something, right? If Satoshi isn't alive anymore, let's say, which is the best case scenario for Bitcoin. Sad for Satoshi. But it's the best case scenario for Bitcoin if Satoshi isn't alive, because then that fear of his wallet ever activating never is a real fear.
Yeah. Well said.
And then trust is built.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is built. Speaking of Satoshi, can I welcome Doug?
Hey.
He's not Satoshi, but maybe he knows who is.
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Doug. Welcome and good morning, my friend. How are you?
How we doing?
Good.
Here.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here, man.
Couple thoughts on a prediction. I have to run. I only have a minute here. Alex, first and foremost, give yourself some credit, dude. Like you just said, you're not a good trader. Like what you just did I think is the ideal perspective or the thought process you want someone to have for trading, which is like, hey, these are kind of some red flags. I'm going to take some off the top, and beautiful. So stop that. Secondly, this is for more of a recommendation to anyone in the US who uses or has used like a KuCoin or a MEXC. I understood the whole hype thing. I didn't know really what it was. I recently used hype and I am like blown away. I mean, it's essentially a centralized or a decentralized exchange with centralized functionality. Like it's very smooth, very nice to use. And for me, like I wish I had started using it sooner. So that really is a target for anyone that's like in the US using MEXC or still KuCoin, if that's even possible, or any exchange that's deemed as shady. That's an alternate path. So I wanted to put that out there as a recommendation.
Thank you. And that's hyperliquid.xyz.
You and DeFi Daddy in the Hyperliquid group. I've been impressed.
I like Hyperliquid
Also. Yeah. I haven't used it yet. I just like the amount of money flowing through it.
Yeah,
I haven't
100%.
either, but I need to give it a shot.
Money.
And then with the Hyperliquid, to get assets over there, I had to use Wormhole. I haven't used Wormhole in like 6 months. It is beautiful. Like it was so easy just selecting the source wallet and destination wallet. For those who don't know, it's a bridge to basically be able to move assets from one matrix to the other, one blockchain to the other. Right. So I almost imagine. You ever seen the movie Inside Out, the Pixar movie? Where the floating islands of emotions. I think it's where the personalities. I forget what it is. Like almost like each one of those islands is essentially a different blockchain, and like how to connect those is a bridge, and Wormhole is one of those.
Fun fact: Wormhole is not just a bridge, but they are a company that has made it possible to do a lot of different things on many different chains. Their most well-known product is, I believe it's called the Portal Bridge now. Is that right? Or is it Allbridge?
Yep.
I always confuse their product, but they just released, Alex, what is it? A $1.3 billion credit fund that they are bringing to Solana.
From Securitize.
Solana from Securitize, which is BlackRock.
Big fucking deal.
Really big deal.
I do say so.
The BlackRock Solana Wormhole combo. which is
Yeah.
a fantastic partnership.
And something I never thought I'd hear anyone say.
Here we are. Wow.
All right.
You said
So
you had a
good-
prediction, Doug?
No, so one more thing before the prediction. This is a thought that
Okay,
I want you guys to think about. You don't have to answer it right now because it's probably it's something that so like my world is living in a world of hypotheses and scenarios, right? Trying to get a feel for like where things would be like, okay, this is maybe a red flag, green flag. So the scenario I'm thinking of is that once we get, say, legislation in place, we start getting the crypto stock pile, whatever it's called, that's there. Say there's a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Now we have the sovereign wealth fund, whatever that may be. Let's take Bitcoin out of this conversation here. So Bitcoin aside, would you see a place where, let's just say there maybe was some scenario where Trump is no longer in his capacity for whatever reason, like not saying that anything's going to happen, that's there. If you started seeing like the crypto stockpile buying the same assets that's in World Liberty Financial, would you see that as a red flag? Or you see the sovereign wealth fund, would you see that as a red flag, as things to basically, now depending on how they actually position those and like how it's actually done with, staking and things like that. I'm just trying to think through scenarios. And again, not like any of this is going to happen, but I'm just trying to think of what are those things of the relationships between that entity and the government entities that maybe you want to say, that's a little red flag going up. So I'm trying to think through those scenarios. I don't know yet how, because obviously those things are still in their infancy, and maybe today we get some more from David Sachs, but they're still early. But it's something I'm trying to just think through in the coming weeks, months, years. But just wanted to put that out there.
Quick clarifying question is, Can somebody remind me, Alex, I think you sent it to me. What is the news about World Liberty Financial trading their governance tokens to other people that are interested in? Go ahead.
If anyone would like World Liberty Financial to purchase their token and hold it, you simply have to buy $10 million worth of WLFI.
So the tokens they hold in their wallet.
Pay a 10% fee.
Oh.
So for $100,000, they will buy your token.
Yeah. And in their wallet, they will have, Harry Potter, Sonic, Obama, Inu, or Fartcoin, or Butthole token, presumably, if you are willing to pay to play, which, to be fair, is not necessarily all that different from Binance's model.
I mean, it's the same as everyone else's model.
But a lot of them will also go out and spend money on tokens. They're not just a come to me, which is kind of what this is.
But the important thing to keep in mind here is that it is not necessarily indicative of the success of Project XYZ. However, it can be a good thing to keep an eye on, because if everyone else is keeping an eye on it, you could catch some of those price swings on the news.
Good point.
The same way that you would be able to trade an exchange listing or something else, even if the exchange is listing a pile of shit.
Yeah, so I have complex feelings about it, is my short answer. That it might be, it would probably be good for my bags. Almost certainly it's like a website that's telling me in real time, Eric Trump tweeted
what the government's
ETH is a good idea. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I absolutely put Aave and Athena in my portfolio. The linchpin for me to do it was, World Liberty Financial is buying them. And also the reason I've been buying ETH lately is because World Liberty Financial has been buying it.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's good though.
No, that's kind of where. Sorry, and even the World Liberty Financial side, it's just that I just don't understand the crypto stockpile yet. Like the strategic Bitcoin reserve, it makes sense. I just don't get that. I don't get the purpose of it, and that's what we need time to play out.
I mean, we all get it. We get it. It's they can make more money with smaller market cap coins. So henceforth, therefore, round table, the route for more money wins. So, there'll be your Bitcoin and your Ethereum, and might be some other things in World Liberty Financial. Might even throw Solana in there. Who knows? Who's to say? Your Aaves, your Athenas, all that kind of stuff are potentials. But I don't know. I don't view it as necessarily neither bad nor good. I just view it as it's actually just a window into the everyday people's actual ability to see how the insiders are insider trading a little bit sooner than they were before because of blockchain.
That's fair.
So if anything, it's just opening up, it's just closing the distance between retail and Wall Street / government officials who all do insider trading. I view it as a good thing. You're not going to stop insider trading.
Beautiful. And sorry, Alex, I interrupted you before. Like, that's for me. It's like, I want to think through scenarios. That's it. Like, I'm not trying to imply one way or the other, but I want to just have scenarios in my mind and understand the relationships or not relationships between these different entities. So Alex, I'm sorry, I interrupted you before.
No, I think effectively two things whenever I see something like that, because you could say the same thing about a meme coin founder paying the Dex Screener promo feature to get the lightning bolt. Right now it means effectively nothing because everybody and their grandmother pays for it. So, okay, cool. But, what you have to ask yourself is, what is this going to make other people feel and think? And then you sort of have this big self-fulfilling prophecy as we all stare at each other and like, wait, what are you going to do about this? And I think the World Liberty Financial would be the exact same thing. Like if I knew, like we do know, that cryptos can pay to play for exposure in portfolio XYZ, to me, that says two things. It says, one, there's a potential for price action just because of this. When the market crashes, these might be more likely to recover because people who believe and know and can see all of the market manipulation that happens in crypto, like I would say happened this weekend, you might be able to say these have a higher probability of recovering because the string pullers have a vested interest in these doing well. So it's more likely that people buy back into these first. It also, though, in the genre of red flag, tells me that the project is more interested in short-term price action than they are in long-term viability and longevity of the project. And that makes me worried. And I would move things out of confident long-term hold into short to mid-term play.
Beautiful.
Instead.
Mhm.
Beautiful. I like that thought. Awesome. All right, I'll leave it to prediction. And on the boost thing, by the way, I don't know if I saw a stat or somewhere, but the larger boost of new tokens, I didn't realize a lot of them are coming from stolen credit card numbers, which is why most of those things actually end up
Really?
nuking immediately. Yes. Yeah, I forget there was an individual in one of the groups, the alpha groups I'm in, that it's almost like two Dex Screeners aware of it too later on because they can't really do anything out of the gate, but like it's one of those things. So when you see like, hey, how this has 10,000 boosts, which is like, I don't know, 50 grand to pay, I don't know what the number is, right? And it's already nuked. Well, there was something else not in good intention happening there prior to. So scams, just red flags. And it's not always great that it's up on top there. My prediction, and this is not in a fear-mongering way, just like in general, this is my data governance hat coming on, that's all here. I believe that we will realize years down the road that we have gone through one of the largest like data breaches within like a social security standpoint.
Oh my God,
the chain of custody may have been broken with our the things that is our identity, like the numbers, and a future new centralized identification system is going to have to be put in place in parallel to essentially rebuild that structure itself. I don't know when that is, but it's just it's something I'm looking at and just like don't like it. That's all. Just don't like it. So anyway, not saying anything's going to happen right now because of that, but it's just that it'll just realize that may be broken, and like how the things and how the processes and your rules and your the privacy element of it is just maybe it's just gone. So
Interesting. Cool. Well, Doug, thank you as always, my friend. Quick before you go, plug the show. I haven't been. My Friday mornings have just gone through the window. You moved from Friday morning to Friday afternoon, though. Tell me, give us the pitch. Where are you appearing this week?
Is on 3 p.m. this week, and actually we don't have a guest this week. So hey, if any, maybe pull one of you guys up, or just trying to go find someone to be there. I haven't had a chance to.
What day?
Look for a guest, but what's that?
This is Friday.
Friday.
Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, and the goal is to essentially more of like you guys did, more just a conversational, good vibe, talk about topics, and ideally there is to focus on a single project. And last week we interviewed the dev from TrenchBuddy, so I really want to start talking to smart people and ask them questions maybe someone else isn't asking, but also ask the questions the communities want to ask as well. So that's this Friday at 3 p.m. Guest to be determined.
Excellent. Well, Doug, thank you very much as always for keeping things fresh, brother.
All right, everybody.
Keeping things
all right, guys.
fresh. Nice.
Enjoy your Tuesday. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
See you, Doug.
All right, cool.
Bye for now.
All right, take care.
Oh, guys, I got to get going pretty soon.
Okay. In that note, then, I have a ton of shit that I wrote down to rapid fire, but Will, let's start with you then in the interest of time. Can you give us just for the people who are just jumping in and asking about it, can we do like a quick top-down, market pulse check really quick?
A pulse check, or
yeah, where are we at? What are both? Yeah.
Yes, that's what he means.
What are you looking at this week? That is what I mean.
Yeah, sure. So yesterday, I guess I'll share my screen.
Hold tight. Here I come.
Present.
Also, while Will is pulling up his screen, David Sachs, CryptoSar, was mentioned. He's going to have a press conference a little later today to go over the administration's agenda for.
You took away one of my updates.
Hey, sorry. I was
Hang
just
on
trying to
now.
help you while you were getting the screen.
Hang
Go,
on.
you tell us more. Tell us more.
No, now I don't want to.
Oh, no.
Me.
Yeah, if we're looking at the market right now, guys, I mean, yesterday, if you saw my daily update video, I said if $92,000 didn't hold a support, we would fall to 84K. It held in support in a very big way. When you have a candle with a really long wick like this right here that you can see, that's a really good sign. We ended up getting a daily candle close actually above the 21-day exponential moving average, above 2 exponential moving averages. So just think about it like, hey, bulls came in really strong. That's what the long wick tells you. And then we actually ended the day above 2 key levels of support. Hey, that's really nice. The other thing that's nice is you got a candle called a bullishly engulfing candle, which is when this bull side action basically made it so that the bear side selling action from the day prior didn't exist. It got completely wiped away. A bullishly engulfing candle with this long of a wick combined is a very bullish candle, right? Telling us that, yeah, this is most likely as low as Bitcoin is going to go moving forward, okay? So that is our evaluation of the price action yesterday that really just, whipped us back and forth as, the trade war went, we're in a war, go home.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're fine. Everyone, what trade war? What trade war? What are you talking about?
Oh, you thought?
You thought we were going to trade war? No. But here's one thing from a TA standpoint too. So if we look down here to the bottom, to the daily stochastic RSI, you can see that we are in oversold territory. Oversold territory is when you are below, this line. Wait, I just got rid of it. Is when you're below like this blue line here. So you can see we're in oversold territory here, but that doesn't mean we're about to immediately get a bounce. Because you want to have the spot chart for Bitcoin line up with the futures chart for Bitcoin. And the futures chart, if you look again at the daily stochastic RSI at the bottom here, is only just starting to enter oversold territory. And this orange line wants to get into oversold territory as well, or close to it. Because before you get a turnaround on the charts of Bitcoin, you need to have the futures chart and the spot chart both line up with reading oversold territory levels, right? And at the same time, we see on the chart here, on the futures chart, that Bitcoin could fall potentially another 4% to retest the 55-day exponential moving average, okay? So don't be surprised to see Bitcoin continue to slide a little bit, but this is screaming that this was a bottom. We're not going to go below 92K, okay? The last thing I'll provide you as an update on the chart is when we come to the weekly time frame on the spot chart. And again, if you look down here at the weekly stochastic RSI, we have quite a bit of room to go before we are in oversold territory, right? So this tells us to expect, if we combine the two readings, the weekly chart wants to either go down or sideways. That'll make the weekly stochastic RSI go down, which tells us that Bitcoin could continue this consolidation phase that it's been in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weeks, so 3 months, that this could continue for another number of weeks before we really actually get a sizable turnaround and Bitcoin starts to, instead of chop a little bit more, really break upwards.
It's worth noting too that, that may sound like a long time, but you got to remember that the people you're playing this game against are way more patient than you. And the way that you win is by also being patient and by taking advantage of opportunities as they present themselves.
Now, we'll see. Today at 2:30, as Evan, said, crypto czar David Sachs will be speaking. And we don't know exactly what he's going to be speaking about, but we know that generally it's going to be about U.S. crypto policy moving forward. So we'll see what additional insights we get. It could be enough to light the markets on fire, or maybe it's going to be really, really vague with no set timelines on anything. And it's going to be a bit of a nothing burger. So, that news at 2:30 today could maybe change this analysis that we currently have. But purely from a TA standpoint, it looks like Bitcoin is set up to continue ranging for a bit between this $92,000 to $110,000 range. And there you have it.
Will, would it be fair to say that if, let's say in this scenario that Bitcoin does range for 3 months, that altcoins will probably also range, but probably more to the downside? That would be my thought. It would be not unlikely for them to bleed more.
Yeah, that would be my thought. But, you'll have some coins, I'm sure, do very well in this time, like,
Sure.
a handful. But yeah, I would expect them to range and potentially go to the downside too. Because
but specifics, like you said, like not some sort of massive altcoin season, but like, the possibility for something that gets really good news or something that gets a really good announcement or some other single event could,
Oh, Evan, sorry, I forgot I was sharing my screen. But,
I thought maybe you were. I thought maybe you were.
No, sorry, I just forgot I was
going
sharing,
somewhere else.
My bad.
Well, then give us a final thought on it.
Yeah, I mean, Alex took the final thought, which is you're going up against people, and this has been true in every single crypto bull cycle. You're going up against people who have more patience than you. And before it was Bitcoin whales, and now it's even more professional. Bigger whales, even more whaley.
Hedge
the
funds.
Whales are whaling whalingly. And now you're going up against hedge funds who absolutely know how to take advantage of retail. So, just be patient. And the other thing I want to do is from a macro standpoint. Today we get the JOLTS jobs survey, which will be some economic data for the United States. I think we may have already gotten that actually, but we'll see. I'll look it up later. The other news for today is we are getting the earnings report from Google. That's important because the stock market is largely held up by tech stocks. Google's one of the biggest. So
By largely, do you mean entirely?
Pretty much.
I mean, like 90%. So yeah, Palantir had a great earnings report the other day, which is great. They're one of the biggest software companies out there. Google, if they have a good earnings report today, that puts a lot of confidence into the market moving forward, right? Wednesday, we get payrolls data from a macro standpoint, and that's about it. Thursday, we get our weekly jobless claims data that we get every single Thursday, and we get the earnings report for Amazon. So that's a big thing to look at. And then on Friday, we get some payrolls data. So we're getting a good bit of jobs economic data this week. But honestly, I really think the most important things are the Google earnings report. And this affects Bitcoin and crypto too, by the way. Everybody, it's all connected. And what was the other big one I said? Amazon. That's on Thursday.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay, I have to run.
Well, thank you very much, Will. We love having you here all the time. And we'll catch up with you in the Discord, yeah? See you tomorrow.
Yeah, Alex. Ha, ha, ha.
It's like a
See you guys.
knife into my ear every time.
You love
Oh,
it.
the dolphin? Yeah, I could probably adjust the volume on that one a little bit.
Don't. Louder. More. Yeah.
Could you just
I will.
delete it?
Never.
All right. So,
It's the last time, I promise.
Evan, I swear to God, I'm going to see you in Denver in just a few short weeks.
Yeah,
I
and then
will-
I'm just gonna say it in your ear. I'm gonna practice my dolphin noise. I think my dolphin is rusty. It's like
your dolphin is a smoker, is what it is.
my dolphin is migrating to
Your
another
dolphin-
throat.
Your dolphin needs to lay off the smokes, is what he needs to do.
Ow. I don't know.
Okay, so there were a few good questions that I think we can rapid fire quickly. So to recap what we talked about today, in case you want to go back and recheck the recording, we went through, I thought, a really good conversation on loss cutting and kind of portfolio management consolidation. Talked about the importance of learning how to read a blockchain explorer because we were able to disprove, or at the very least shed some or cast some extremely serious doubt on some dubious news reporting from this weekend. There was a couple comments. Bear markets are for accumulating, but is there still volatility during the bear market? 100% yes. You'll find that it's more like, honestly, it's more like we are now with less interest and lower prices, where it's kind of just these like smaller swings, 10, 15% of a range, as people are just sort of like, is this it? No, it's not it. And there's more aggressive profit taking because no one's expecting it to really, start up again. But bear markets are for accumulating. That's a good point. How do you know that you're in one? Everybody will tell you. Also, things will just bleed down and down and down. I think there's a big misconception into like how we enter a bear market. And if you look at the start of the last one from 2021, we topped at the end of November, and then we just sort of, bled for like 9 months straight, and then we just flatlined, and then we sat there for a year.
Yeah. A lot of people would call that downward time the bear market, and they would call the slow crabbing and upward trend accumulation is a word you'll hear bandied about a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, the other thing to keep in mind too is that bear markets have this way of making you think that's not what's happening. One thing that kind of triggers me a little bit to think that maybe this isn't what it seems. This is usually when my alarm bells go off that like, hey, this crash doesn't feel sustainable to me, is when we have a huge like 20 or 30% crater in a bunch of stuff, just like we did on Sunday. Massive liquidations, huge whatever, at a time when everyone is super bullish, allegedly. That's usually
the blow off top is coming.
When everyone's like, oh, that's it, there's the bear market, it's usually not going to be that obvious. And the thing that happened in 2021 was months and months and months of slow bleed, pump. Oh, okay, we're good. No, never mind. Down. Pump. Oh, we're good. Never mind. And that's what causes people to round trip bags, because it's slower. You get trapped in this thought cycle of saying, okay, well, I'm down. All I need is one more little pump up, and then I'll sell everything. And then you get that little pump, but it's not quite enough. And you're like, oh, okay, just a couple more percent. And then you don't do it. And then it crashes again before you're ready. You're like, ah, shit. Okay, well, now I'm even more underwater. Let me just get back to where we just were. And this time I'll sell, I promise. No, you're not. And then it's going to go down. And you're just going to keep doing that until you've round tripped all the way back down to the bottom.
So what's the solution if I'm in that cycle to get out of it?
Honestly, if you're in that cycle where you're like beating yourself up and you're depressed and you're just like waiting for some big pump and you need the money right now and you just have to get out, just sell it. You lost, and I'm sorry, and that sucks. But the longer you wait, the worse it's going to get. And this is why I preach so aggressively and so hard that bull markets are for profit taking. Okay? That's where you need to be thinking about doing the selling. That's where you need to be thinking about, like, okay, well, this is a great price and I am in the green. I'm going to remove some money from the table and wait and be patient. Because like we just said with the hedge funds, who are you competing against? The most patient, wealthy companies on the planet that do not care if they have a red quarter because their eye is on years from now. And they're trading against people with the attention span of cracked out goldfish.
Cracked out goldfish,
it's an easy
baby.
game. So just the number of people, last thing, Evan, the number of people who are in Discord right now who are telling me that they're like apologizing for not having more stable coins or saying that they have more stable coins now. We're learning. Nature is healing. And we're growing. And I'm very happy about that.
I'm happy about it too. I was just gonna highlight Neil's question, which is, how out are you? How much profit have you taken? And the goal is really, I would say, to take some profits along the way in order to. It's tough to entirely measure because I'm not like out of the market. I'm probably like 30% in stable coins from profits I have taken that I don't want to reallocate. But I also, if I take profits on something that I think still has legs at this point, some of it, I've started doing what Will has done, where like 10% of it goes to Bitcoin. I think that's a killer rule that I'm excited to play around with. But then a lot of the time I will like rebuy a dip with that money because, let's just say 25%. Let's say I'm using $100. The $25 I took out, 25% of my position. If the price goes down, will now buy me more tokens at this price. So I might have been able to buy one token for $25 when it was up here. Well, now I've got two. And if it goes back and I take profits again, I've got more money. So I kind of do like that. And I try to find stuff early enough Thank you very much, Cade.
Ooh.
I appreciate it, brother. It's good to see you, man. That I can do that a couple of times and then accumulate more Bitcoin. That's my profit pile, or a couple more stable coins to deploy into other things. And then even when we're done, Alex, I don't know about you, but hopefully I will have done that enough times that I will have grown my overall position enough.
Yes.
So that when I exit for what I think is the final time, I'll still leave 10% in, and it might ride all the way to the bottom, and that'll be okay because I've made, money, and progressively, if Solana starts getting up to $350 or $400, I'll be like out at that point. You know what I mean?
I would not be 100%, but
no, but I'd
heavily.
be like 90% out probably myself.
Ratio wise, right now I'm sitting at about 40-60, 40 stable, 60 exposure. I do think though that like if you're entering the market right now, I agree with Cade. Like you're taking so much risk entering from scratch now and going heavy into any altcoin positions, especially in like the short to midterm, because it's so uncertain. I could easily be wrong, but one thing that I know that from experience that I never regret is I never regret missing an opportunity in favor of protecting myself from a lot of downside, especially if I'm like brand new to it, because volatility is a lot to stomach. You might think that you're like mentally prepared for it, which is why Evan suggests like buying a little bit of something with money that you're prepared to lose so that you can experience what it looks like when you open and your portfolio is 20% lower than it was yesterday. And then tomorrow it's up 15% from there. And then it goes back down another 25%. Then it's up 30%. Like that's a weird thing to stomach. And it's really hard to describe it in a way that makes somebody understand it. So getting some exposure to it is great practice. And you always have the option of just buying some stable coins and earning interest on it, at least more interest than you're earning in a savings account, even a high yield savings account. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing like that's a move. That's a trade. Putting some money into an investment portfolio that you are managing with a different attitude than your checking account that is earning some better interest than that checking account. That's a move.
That's a move.
That's absolutely a move. Close that gap. How much buying power your dollar is losing every single year from inflation and debasement. That's a move it's a fine move to take. Don't let anyone bully you into buying a bunch of shit you don't feel good about.
The fastest way to lose money is to do that, is to hear somebody on the internet who seems really smart, who sounds really excited, tell you you're early to something, or tell you something is going up and you need to buy it right now. So you do. And then you don't know how to sell it. You can't find their profile. You're trying to get help. You've lost a lot of peace. And even if it goes up a bunch, if you don't know how to sell it, you're out of luck, Charlie. And it's a really rough feeling that a lot of people experience because of the FOMO around this. There is absolutely no rush. You are so early. The most valuable thing you can do with your time is spend a little bit of time just to learn how this works. If you're investing for the first time, to learn how your internal compass, your gut works, like Alex is always saying, those are all lessons that will make everything you buy, whether it's a stock or a cryptocurrency token in the future, better. Alex, can we give them a couple of previews as we keep wrapping up? I just noticed it's about time to get our dogs and ponies out of here. And I do want to tell you, if you are new, especially, we have decided after much helpful feedback, thank you to everybody who's given it, that Wednesdays going forward on the Rise Up Morning Show will be, we need a name for it, Wonderful Wednesdays. We learn together Wednesdays, Web3 Wednesdays. I don't know, but we're going to do a whole day every week of dedicated questions and answers for people who are just totally new to this, or, people who want a little extra help, but especially oriented towards the beginner. So if you know somebody who's crypto curious, who's skeptical, or if you yourself have some questions that you're feeling a little nervous to ask, or maybe you come to the Rise Up Morning Show and you're like, oh my God, I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I really want to learn. That's going to be the day for you. Alex and I are going to be right here, slowing it down, maybe giving you a lecture, maybe giving you a hug.
Evan hugs. I chastise.
That's right. It's a good balance between us. But we absolutely want to see you here. What the hell Wednesdays, Jower suggests. That's a great one. So come back and join us. We'll be here at 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern to answer your questions. And every Monday through Thursday, we are here at the Rise Up Morning Show. If you don't want to join us on TikTok, you can join us on YouTube. If you don't want to join us on YouTube, you can join us on Facebook. Just search for the Rise Up Morning Show. And then tomorrow night, Alex, what do we got? Killer episode of Rise Up After Dark coming up, right?
Yeah,
You want to tell them about it?
Tomorrow we are going to be streaming with Amy Street. You can find on Twitter at I am Amy Street. And I'm super stoked. We accidentally discovered that we are both fans of each other without realizing it. And so bringing the two platforms together is very exciting. So she's going to come on. She's a, hardcore Solana user,
She's
investor,
plugged in, man.
personality. Her big flex is that Forbes referred to her as a crypto personality one time in an article. So, take that for what you will, but she's fantastic. She used to be a teacher. Talented content creators, got a lot of cool stuff. We're going to do Solana Beyond the Memes. What are the businesses being built there and what are they? And no meme talk. So I'm excited for that. And then she'll tell her story about how she got into crypto. And I have to say, it's pretty entertaining. I won't rug her, but it's a good one. That's tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Eastern at the normal after dark time slot, exactly 12 hours after the start of the morning show.
That's right. If you think, what time does the morning show start? And then add 12 hours or subtract 12 hours, depending on where you are or how you do it, that's Rise Up After Dark. And if you want to see some of the past guests we've had, the fabulous guests like Dennis Porter or Lindsay Poss, Evan McMullen, you got to check these people out. And also our altcoin, listen, I wasn't going to say it, but he is pretty great. We also do altcoin research there. If you've got an altcoin suggestion, you take it to the Discord, you leave it in the altcoin grades channel, and we will sit down and demonstrate what it is like to do your own crypto research, teach you a couple of tools, tips, tricks, and give our grades at the end of the night for our embarrassment, usually your enjoyment. It's a fun game where the rules are made up and the points don't matter. We let our hair down and have a drink and usually learn something about crypto together. It's a really good time. The only thing missing is you. And speaking of things that are missing just you, the Discord server is totally free. It is discord.gg/rise up. And it is full of people at all levels of experience who are learning about crypto. It's a great place to ask your question. I get so many DMs on TikTok, Alex, and I know you do too. And the number one thing I tell people is like, I love you. I want to help you. I will help you. But you will never hear from me again. You will never hear from me again. The chances that we found each other here in this place, it's like Sleepless in Seattle, kind of like serendipitous. And I am dating myself with that reference. The only movies I've seen. But you got to get in the Discord. It's a free app. We got tutorials in our profile to help you get there. And we even have classes. We have coaching there. We have so many conversations. The answers to every question are in the Discord. And if that's not enough for you, we've got premium memberships. You can get a free trial to our premium membership, but they're like $9. They're like $19, depending on what level you get, and you get a ton of stuff. I do coaching calls every Friday. I call them office hours because it's not really like coaching. It's more like we hang out and people ask questions, and the people are just so smart, you guys. And that's the best way to learn. Get in a room of other people who want to help, who aren't going to try and like sell you their token or scam you. That's it, Alex. So,
No, I couldn't agree more. Well said. The Discord is the place to be. And if you guys have any questions at all, I always tell people I get the same DMs that Evan gets. It's the same thing. That's the best place to go. Plus, there's not just us. There's a ton of very, very
the mods are so great, and all of our friends who've been in the space for a long time. It's good, man. It's good.
So there was one question I said I would touch on before we leave, and I'll reference a tweet that I posted yesterday just because it really pissed me off and I was struggling yesterday. And apparently we're in an age where you can't call customer service for help. You have to @ them on social media to get them to pay attention to you. So USAA, I was struggling yesterday to just get them to approve a transaction through MoonPay, and they wouldn't do it. They sent me the fraud prevention thing, like, click yes if this is you. Yes. Denied. Do it again. Denied. Do it again. Denied. Finally, they call me. Still, I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, it's me. Just let me use my money. And they're like, no. And then denied again. even though I'm approving it every single time. So bearish on USAA. The question was about banks that are helpful or friendly to crypto. I can tell you right now, USAA has been real hit or miss. I never really have any trouble when I'm trying to like buy through the account onto either Kraken or Coinbase. They've been good about that in the past. But debit card transaction purchases through an on-ramp like MoonPay, I have yet to be successful. I'm going to sit down and try it again today just to try to see if I can get through it, because it really pissed me off. We have also had good luck with Chase, and I'm not the biggest fan of Chase as an institution, but they have been friendly. We use them for the Faceless Labs company bank account, and we talked to a rep before we opened it just about, you know, the ability to sell and transfer money from exchanges or to move money to exchanges, and they were good about it. We haven't had any issues there. I know that people I know have had good luck with like smaller, like local branches. So the best thing you can do is just like call your bank and ask them. I'm kind of becoming more and more bullish on like smaller, more like startup looking banks. Like right now we're looking at a bank called Blue Vine. And I am meaning to, I need to get on the phone with them and talk to them about the whole crypto thing. So it's real hit or miss. The best thing you can do is call and check. And I don't have a ton of experience with a ton of different banks, but I would be super curious from all of you guys to in Discord, just drop and let us know if you've had a bank that was really good. If you had good luck with one, I'd be very curious. On that note, I do also have to leave, Evan. So I think it's time, and we'll see everybody bright and early.
Yeah, that sounds great. If you got a question we didn't hit, the Discord is the best place for it. I'll leave it on the screen for just a couple more seconds. Take a screenshot. Let us know what questions you have in the comments, and come back tomorrow, same time, same place for more Rise Up Morning Show. Until then, my friends, everybody be well. Stay safe.